you have a week like this where you're trying to find someone to fill in for Omar? Like, what are you observing in practice as you try to make the decision on who's going to get those reps?
Yeah, just execution. Guys playing hard, communicating everything we want. The guys, and obviously we're always trying to get our best 11 on the field, whether that's different packages, different things that we can do. So you're always kind of looking at that. We're always rolling in guys. Greg Williams does a great job kind of developing depth and rolling those guys in. So, they always know they're a play away to play. So, it's the same thing every single week.
What does Omar bring to your defense that you appreciate?
He brings a calmness. I was talking to Landman. That's funny you asked. I was talking to Landman about him last week and how much he loves playing next to him. And he brings a calmness. He's stout. He's tough. He's extremely smart. He communicates great. He's physical. So, we know he'll be back soon.
Nate has always kind of been known as like a run stopper, but what have you seen from his ability to impact the game in coverage, and is that something that you expected to see from him?
He's got a great feel in coverage. He really does. He's got a great feel in zone. He's great plays, great vision off the quarterback. He communicates. He understands route concepts. He understands how one route affects another. So he just has a great feel. I don't know if I necessarily expected that, but we saw it pretty quick in OTAs. So we're happy to have him.
How would you evaluate the play of the secondary to this point in the season?
I think they've been really good. I think each play, each game is its own entity. I think we can do a better job as coaches putting them in some better positions. I think we've had some tough matchups, some isolations, sometimes where, whatever you're doing on defense, where you got to maybe win a one-on-one here and there. But we're really happy with how they're playing.
You had a situation where Ahkello was kind of supposed to be like the big physical corner in this group. Like when he goes down, how does that kind of throw off the equilibrium of finding those matchups?
Yeah, no doubt, and it's a matchup-based league, and Ahkello was a great player for us, and obviously still will be. And just like when anybody goes down, and any week you're playing, it's different matchups, different receivers. Obviously, the Ravens have a lot of different skill sets and pose a lot of different problems than the Niners would or anybody else we played, and that goes every single week, no matter who's playing.
I know you coach on the other side of the ball, but what do you remember about Liam Coen when he was here as well?
Oh, he's a great friend. Great friend of mine. Our wives are really close. We still keep in touch, text, talk all the time. He's a great coach. He has a great vision. The main thing that sticks out to me about him is he's a connector. He's a people person. He gets along with everybody. He was assistant receivers coach, but he was a guy that, everybody on the defense knew and everybody loved, the whole coaching staff. So, he's just a great guy.
Some of the Jacksonville players have described him as like a fiery personality. Is there a moment where you saw that?
I've seen some of those videos, and I definitely agree. You knew he had it in him, but obviously in his role here, it wasn't necessarily you're not necessarily everyone's looking to you to inspire a whole team, but he's definitely a guy that, he can get guys to believe in because he knows football, he loves football, and those guys are following him.
What's the challenge when you're preparing for a team and a guy like possibly Lamar Jackson, or could be a guy who's completely different if he doesn't play? For you as the defensive coordinator, is it just all about concepts, or how do you differentiate?
Yeah. That's a great question, Gary. You got to be ready for everything, and that's our job. As the defensive coaches, is we got to put our guys and have the preparation to put them in the best spots, and it's definitely a challenge. Definitely different styles, and you're going to treat them differently depending on who's playing. So you got to be ready for both, and if that means us kind of staying late and doing some extra work, then we're definitely going to do that.
Where's Shaun Dolac at his development?
He's doing awesome. He's been repping really no matter what, kind of getting in the reps every week. Obviously, he'd been playing scout team and the look squad for the offense, and but he's just a stud. He's doing a great job, and we're excited excited about him.
He was the one member of the team undrafted this year. What did he do in camp to earn his spot on this roster?
You could tell pretty early that the game wasn't too big for him. He's like we were talking about with Omar. You can almost talk to him like a coach, even though as a real young player that obviously hasn't played much yet. But the game makes sense to him. You saw it in practice. You saw it in OTAs, how easy it was for him. And then he obviously went out in the preseason and played really well and was able to get guys to the ground and tackle and was physical. And we're seeing it on special teams right now.
Can you explain a little bit more what you mean by talk to him like a coach? Does that just mean like less time spent on like explaining concepts, or what exactly does that look like?
Yeah, it's like, when exactly what you're saying, Stu. You might say a concept and you can just tell he gets it right away. And then, he's in here studying and looking at the tape, and he's in here early, and you can tell he's already kind of like, when you're installing stuff in front of the room, he's already kind of heard it, and you're just kind of saying it for the second time. And then there's some, it's everything what guys can handle. You always take the approach of every single individual player of giving them all the information that they can handle, and he's a guy that can handle a lot of information.
When you look at this Baltimore defense, what stands out?
Well, one thing I know is every time I've gone to Baltimore, it hasn't been a success. I've never won there. That's a tough place to play. These guys got a lot of pride, and let's keep it real. They had quite a few injuries, going into last week. You watch that week one and what these guys can do and what they've historically done, in the last few years, and then, obviously over the last probably 3 decades. It's one of the best defenses. They have a lot of pride. They're coached extremely well. We're going to get their best shot, and we know that.
When you're facing a team that has a lot of injuries, like the 49ers did last week,
Sure.
just how do you prevent that from creeping into your players' minds?
Yeah, this is the NFL. You got to every week is going to be a dogfight, So guys, organizations, units, they got too much pride, too much respect for this game. So, our guys, they got to go into it every week. Like, this is the toughest opponent you're going to play, because it is. Every Sunday is so hard. So, that's not going to be a problem for our guys.
I know you're used to working with primarily experienced tight ends, at least your time here, but what are some of the landmarks that you look for in, say, a rookie tight end's development like Terrance, in terms of, their progression and development and, having the trust to put them out?
Yeah, we ask a lot of our tight ends, right? And that's, kind of across this league. You got both phases. You got the run game, you got the pass game. There's a lot of detail that goes involved right there. So you just kind of see how they fit as it just goes through a series out. And again, we're evaluating practice, right? Like, and dating back to August and to OTAs. So, just kind of how well they kind of move and shake throughout the huddle, get to the line of scrimmage where it just looks like, man, they've been doing it. And he's a smart dude. He's surrounded by a very smart coach and a lot of, guys in that room that have played a lot of good football. So they've gotten him up to speed. And, whatever tight ends out there for our group, we feel very confident in.
Have you noticed that progress out of Terrance, things you're seeing him able to pick up or do now that maybe in the summer was not as good?
I don't know necessarily schematically. I think it's just, again, like I've said, a lot of these young guys just getting used to the speed of the game. He played some big-time football last year, there's no doubt, and throughout his college career, and had the production, to back it up. But, again, it's just a different league, so just understanding, how fast these windows are going to close, how fast when you catch a ball you're going to have to transition, how you have to just keep on fighting and grinding when you're attached in the run game, all those little things that he is more than capable of and has shown. But again, that's an adjustment. It's like one thing to see it, it's another thing to go do it and then consistently do it to understand and, like where he's at.
When you see the catch he made in the when he finally played in the preseason,
Yep.
and then the catch he made the other day, what kind of goes through your mind in terms of a tight end with that kind of
again,
ability?
it's just not too big for him, right? That's first and foremost. Obviously, you guys see the ability in terms of just the flexibility and the gait that he has, in his lower half, eating up space and all those kind of things. So, again, there's a reason that Les and his team spotted him, whenever they started evaluating him, I'm guessing back when he was in 8th grade. No, there's, again, very happy that we have him, in this organization. He's only going to continue to improve. He's made of the right stuff. Like, he's a good dude.
When a quarterback and receiver are in their third year together, like Puka and Matthew are, like, what does that shared experience allow them to do in terms of, like, exploring different things that they
Yeah, you just get used to people's body movements. You get, for receivers, particularly with a guy like Matthew, just because he's not looking at you, when the ball's being thrown doesn't mean it's not coming your way, right? Like, just all those little things of getting used to him, but then also, obviously, from a quarterback perspective, the way that Puka is going to come out of a cut, it's different than Tay, is different than Tutu, and so, that's what all those reps are. Like, you can't get, and they don't, but you just can't get bored of starting in April when you don't even have the pads on yet, how you're banking those reps to get used to each other so that when it comes to Sunday, man, it's your millionth rep. You just have to go, do it at the right time now.
What makes Kyle Hamilton so difficult to prepare for, not just in terms of his skill set, but in terms of like how he's used in that defense?
Yeah, I mean, he's in the back end, he's at nickel, he's all over the place. And, like you just said, his skill set is he's got a unique size to him, right, in length, and that's, dating back to obviously Notre Dame, no doubt, but like when he was a rookie, he was a problem. I can only imagine he's seeing the game even better and better. Like you just know when guys are instinctual and they're extremely smart and they're in such command because of how fluid they play and they're always around the ball. I got as much respect for him as a defensive player as I do as anyone in this league. He's got all that physical skill set, but he matches it with toughness, being in the right place, and all the things I just said. So crazy respect for the dude.
Last year, after Kyren had fumbled a couple times, talking to us, and it seemed like he was very hard on himself. What did you see from him last year as he responded to that?
Mentally tough dude. We trust him. His teammates trust him, which is more important. What doesn't go unnoticed, I think, from anyone, but particularly for me in a fourth down situation in that next drive, who got the ball and who made a big play for us to give us a chance to get into overtime. He did. Because he's just that kind of guy. He's a next play kind of guy. He's only going to be better for it, and our unit.
Did you have any conversations with him after the fumble on Thursday?
Same conversation I have with all these guys after. Just love you, appreciate you, and let's go.
It seemed like yesterday you guys, at least in the portion of the practice that we saw, there was a specific emphasis on ball security in terms of different drills with your offensive players going through them. Was that something that you guys do regularly, or is that something that you decided we need to kind of have some reminders?
Yeah, I mean, we do a ball security drill every Wednesday and Thursday during the season. We did it all August. So I mean, that's just constant reminders, and everywhere I've been, we've done something like that. So no, there's, again, our guys know, and we'll be better for this. I know that.
How has Avila looked as he's kind of working his way back?
Good first day yesterday. In terms of, obviously he had last week getting ready for a short week, so not much evaluation there, because we just had that one day, and it is a shortened day. So good to get him back out there, and kind of that full Wednesday practice today will even be a bigger step for him, because we got the pads on, so it's going to feel more like it is going to on Sundays, and it's good. But it's good to have him back. It's a good problem that we got.
Just kind of how have you felt about the team's energy these last 2 days of practice after the way last week's game went?
Yeah, no, I mean, we're so far removed from it, but we definitely had a couple days. Everybody had the weekend to kind of sit on it. Now, it's a whole new week. You can't worry about the pass. You can't change the pass. It ain't a video game where you can just, skip back and go back. Now, you got to move on from it. Right now, we focus on the Ravens. That's all that matters.
Is that easy to have that mental approach?
Oh, no, it's hard. I mean, we're human like everybody else. It's hard to have a short memory when something bad goes on in your life. You get fired from a job. A family member dies. Something bad happens in your life. It's hard to kind of just move on from it, but that's what you have to do to grow in any aspect, in any job, in any occupation.
This, as a young player, this is going to be the first time I think you'll be going somewhere, play a game, stay there, and then go travel, across the world, basically. So how does that, if at all, impact your weekly kind of routine?
I don't really change my routine at all. The only thing that it changes is I have to bring my PlayStation somewhere else.
But in terms of body work, in terms of physical stuff, no, there's no change.
I don't think there's going to be a change. I mean, the Rams take good care of us. They're going to put us in some good facilities, give us the opportunity to do everything that we do here. Same there. It'll probably be it'll change a couple things here and there in the aspect of, me watching film. I'll probably bring my iPad, watch a lot more film, on the iPad instead of coming here to watch film. But that's probably the only thing that'll change.
Is there any part of you that if Lamar can't play on Sunday, you're disappointed to not get the opportunity to sack him?
I'm furious about it. I want to play Lamar just because, he's one of the best quarterbacks, currently, and then also, you put him in that conversation of not just running quarterbacks, but quarterbacks ever. He's up in that conversation. But, it's also you have to plan differently when he's not playing. We're still going up against an NFL quarterback, still very good. He still can get the ball out fast, get the ball out to who he needs to. So it just brings a whole different set of challenges.
Do you have a bucket list of guys you want to take?
Yeah, Pat Mahomes, Lamar is definitely on there. I want to get Josh Allen. He owed me a couple. But I thought Tom Brady was going to come back. So I thought I was going to get my shot at him. But no, there's a couple dudes in the league I definitely got my eye on that I want to get at least one time.
When you talk about the different challenges that someone like Lamar presents versus Cooper Rush, how do you prepare to play against both of those and make sure that you're ready for anything? That
I mean, they're both very accurate quarterbacks. They're both able to get the ball out to who they have to. Lamar, the challenges he poses more than anything is his ability to run. But when you still take away his ability to run, he's still a great passer. Like, people are calling him like a running back coming out of college. Like, I don't think that's really a conversation no more. Like, he can throw it, he can run it, he can throw on the run, he can get rid of the ball. He doesn't take sacks too often like that where he's able to get it out. So he poses challenges like that. But Cooper Rush, he throws a lot more different challenges at you. He gets the ball out a lot quicker. He kind of knows who he's going to get it to. If he's not open, he's going to move on to his second read pretty fast. Like, he's got a whole different set of challenges that you got to attack differently.
When you're playing teams that have a lot of guys out with injuries, maybe even linemen that you're going to go against, is it difficult to kind of not let that creep into your mind that you're playing against maybe an undermanned opponent?
No, not at all. I mean, I've been on the receiving end of it where we played teams with, guys that were down, and you kind of go like, oh yeah, and then you lose. And I've been on the receiving end where if we had guys down, teams thought it was going to be easy, and we went out there and destroyed them. So it doesn't matter how you kind of pose it. Everybody in the NFL, you don't slip up one day and just wake up, on the Ravens or on the Rams. Like, you got to work to get there. So these are NFL guys, and you got to attack them just like that.
What's inside about this Ravens defense?
I think there's some familiar names. I think of some of the Cougs I've played against. So Kyle went away out there, and then obviously seeing some of the stuff with Kyle Hamilton, and it's a familiar face that we've seen in Alohi Gilman, who just was signed over there, and some of our joint practices with the Chargers. So it'll be exciting, and then obviously seeing some of the stuff that number 2 has put on tape last year, and then just watching how they've played this year. I think it's going to be an exciting challenge for our wide receiver room, and then especially just for our offense and whole, just to be consistently executing throughout the whole game.
The last time this team was in Baltimore, I think it's the first and only time in your career at this point you've played without gloves. And you had the, that diving, barehanded catch, like among, other plays that you made. Just what do you remember about that game?
The rain being like flooded the field like early on in the game. We'd be like, all right, so we're definitely wearing the studs today. But yeah, just kind of like the ebbs and flows of the game. Felt like we were moving well, and then I also think about there's some plays that I feel like I left out there that could have been a huge impact in our play, and then I also think about that was my guy Young Davis's kind of breakout game out there, and it was fun to just be able to make plays with somebody who you'd seen the growth and the progression. We've been working together as rookies, but it'll be exciting to go out there and make some new plays for the cut up.
Was there a moment your rookie year where you felt like you had earned Matthew's trust?
I think it's funny. Yeah, probably week 1 in Seattle that we had a kind of like an RPO route where after I think I had missed my first kind of target, and the second one was just kind of a read depending on where the defense was, and just remember just kind of feeling like, oh, I should probably kind of scoot away from this guy, and the ball was like exactly where I was getting ready to go, and we ended up having a good gain after that and being like, oh, I think he's thinking kind of like me, so I'm thinking like him, and it ended up working out, and then I think the communication has just expanded from there.
Go ahead.
Matthew and Shaun kind of said that stats don't matter, but Matthew is often statistically one of his best starts of his career. Is there anything you've noticed from him this year that maybe you didn't see so much in the first 2 years?
I think I wouldn't say the too much has changed. I think he's still got a pretty good bounce of him. I think his demeanor is just always so consistent. I think it allows for us to operate as an offense and as a unit. Collectively and in sync, because we know how consistent he's going to be, the way he communicates, the way he's going to talk, and it doesn't just get out there when we're out there at practice. The walkthroughs and in the meetings, the things he says after coach speaks to be like, hey, this is how I would communicate it, this is how I'm going to do this. Just those things and that consistency that's carried over throughout the years, I think makes it as somebody else who's trying to learn and figure out so much easier to move forward on things.
Do you feel like he's having fun out there? I know his demeanor, you talk about his demeanor, you kind of noticed it in other areas too. Does it seem like he's having fun?
I think so. I feel like, I think he likes to enjoy being around us young guys. I know me and Tutu get to spend time with him in the morning, and we're not dealing with the same things when we go home and we're talking about playing 2K or what on Instagram or something like that. And he's like, yeah, my daughters, we were doing math homework and we're learning about PEMDAS and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, sweet. Don't ask me for any help.
Do you have any personal routines or in terms of body work or routines that going on this trip, which is going to be an extended trip, will be impacted? And if so, how do you plan to kind of adjust?
I'm not. I'm maybe bad at looking at some of the team messages, but I'm sure they'll have a sauna and cold tub, and the things those are some of the things that I know that are big for me. But then I wear my blue light blocker glasses. I take those every time we travel and stuff like that. Kind of help me with some of the sleep. So I know those will be hydration and sleep, and then also if I got the sauna cold tub combination, keeps me alive throughout the week. So that'll be a mandatory whether they have it or not. I'll find a way.
How physical of a role that you've had so far this season, did you find the mini bye helpful? Do you feel, I guess, more rejuvenated, or do you feel any impact from it?
Yeah, I think mentally more than anything, and kind of just the stress relief it kind of was, just to be like, man, I enjoy watching football while I'm here in the facility, and especially while I'm playing it. But not really think about anything going on a Sunday. It kind of is a weird feeling. Your body kind of wakes up and you're like, kind of got some juices flowing. I'm like, hey, it's all right. I can. Today's a chill day for me. So it was nice mentally, and just how my body, kind of how that mental kind of freedom has relaxed my body, getting ready to come in this week.
Did you do anything to sort of, I don't know, take a mental break or get away from all of that?
I got to see some of my family. So my brother and my sibling had a newborn baby, so to be able to see them was a fresher breath of air, and to be able to see my nephews who are running around, trying to teach them how to do some, or watch them do some backflips and stuff like that. It was pretty fun to see them, and the kind of the young energy that they have reminded me. I'm like, I got to be this for Matthew, so I'll be back with bouncing off walls for him. There were maybe a couple. I wouldn't say they were completed, and we were figuring it out. I was watching. I was like, don't do it like Uncle. You can do better.
Matthew said yesterday that your versatility is your superpower. Do you agree with that, or is there like a specific part of your game that you think is kind of like your superpower?
I feel like everything when I think about my game just comes back to power and strength. I think those are whether that and how that is involved in my game in the route running and in the run game. I think there's an element to that is slightly different in kind of each aspect of that. But trying to be a complete wide receiver, which is involved in the pass game and involved in the run game, and executing for my teammates, and I feel like that's what that is my standard that I'm always trying to set.
I know you've said that Matthew didn't like it when you called him sir as a rookie. How do you feel about him calling you kid?
I guess I never really think about it. I'm like, honestly, I'm sure like there's if he were to have a young kid, I could be his. I'm like, where the age difference is probably right around there. But I think I never really noticed it. I think I know it's funny. I feel like I hear him say it. I'm like, I think I like it a little bit better than Buddy. I'm like, Buddy. I'm like, everyone. Sometimes he says that. I'm like, do I say anything? But I'm like, kid is cool. I feel like I'm like, yeah, I like that.